Mixing is to bring clarity and depth and balance in a track. So we need mixing in a track because overall, to make this track sound good and make it more balanced, we have to go through the mixing process. And without mixing, it's impossible to it'll just sound all over the place and we cannot have a good balanced track. That's why we need mixing. When it comes to mixing, some of the most important things that we work on is like EQ, compression, panning, and volume adjustment as well. EQ is basically equalizing a audio component. We put out the bad frequencies and then we just just overall, if something is sounding muddy or if something is sounding too bright or something like that, why we need an EQ is to balance out properly, how to make it sound good. So right now I'm going to show you. So I have a project out here and I'm going to show you EQing on a melody that I made. So I'm going to load that up on my rack, and then from here I'm going to load up a normal default EQ that we have on FL Studio. And from here, first let me just give me a second. Yep. So yeah, so this is how a EQ looks. This is a parametric EQ. So I'm gonna play and listen to how this certain melody sounds, and I'm gonna find out key what's the problem. I'm gonna listen to it properly once, no rush, just listen to it and find out like what's exactly like the problem in this, what frequencies are not sounding good. So I'll just close my eyes or just like listen to it once or twice. So I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna solo this once. So as I'm looking into the frequency band over here and the spectrum that I have over here, so I know that there's a little bit of low end frequencies in this melody as well, which is fine if I remove it, because at this time I know that I have a bass line as well, and if we have a low end in both, bass lines are like important, like they have the low end, heavy low end. So if I have the same low end on the melody as well, it's gonna clash. So what I'm gonna do is, first I'm gonna take this band and I'm gonna remove a little bit of the low end. And as well, there's also another thing, we have a little bit of high end, which is fine if we keep it as well, but I prefer removing a little bit of the high end as well, so that a lot of vocals and high percussions as well are sitting around this area, which is 6 to 10K area. So on this melody I'll remove a little bit of the low end, high end as well, so this will give more space to the other instruments. And I'm gonna boost a little bit on this area, so this is giving more brightness to the melody as well. So this is just basic EQing, I mean, sorry. And most of the times what we can do with EQ also is to just boost the bands up and keep on rolling left and right to find out the bad frequencies. For example, see, I'm finding some bad frequencies over here at 735 cents. So I can just remove it slightly, not too much. Yeah. So yeah, this is just the basic of EQing that I'm showing you. And every instrument have their own sounds and frequency range, what they actually want. So what we need to do is find out what frequencies that needs boosting and what frequency needs EQing, cutting out. So that's just the basic of EQing, equalizing a track. So yeah, that's what we need to do in EQ. Compression is basically just to bring out the dynamics in a good balanced level. So what I mean by that is, when we add compression to a track, we have very loud ends and we have very soft ends. So what compression does is, this right hand is my loudest sound and this left hand is my softest sound. So what compression done is like does is, right now I'm this wide, so when I'm talking about being this wide, when I add compression, both of them come a little bit closer. So what compression does is, it brings the louder parts and the softer parts to a good area where it sounds more balanced. So that's actually compression. I'm going to show you how compression works on the same melody track that I was working. So yeah, let's go. So on the mixer, this is the mixer window, and on the mixer window I'm gonna load up a compressor that is so just a normal compressor. So I'm gonna open up a mix rack from Slate Digital. So we're already in the window, and let me just clear out everything. So I have a compressor loaded up in the melody track right now, and I'm gonna play. And the thing about compression is not to do over compression as well, because then you're gonna squash the whole dynamics of the track. So what I'm gonna do is just find a sweet spot, not too much cuts on the overall track as well. So I'm just gonna just lower, like I'm just gonna touch the threshold a bit, and as you can see, it's hitting at -1 dBs. So from -1 to 5 dBs is a good area to compress. So I'm gonna also touch on the ratio a bit. So yeah, so this is just the basics of compression. Attack and release, you can adjust it according to it. The more attack, the more compression happens. So just have it on a like good balanced way. Just see what works for the track and then work according to it, because for every track compression is different. So you just need to understand what sounds good on your ears at the first place. So I'm going to put on some makeup gain as well for whatever I have compressed right now. So I'm going to add a little bit gain staging as well. So yeah, so this is just the basics of compression. It's not too complicated. It's just you need to understand that you don't have to overdo the compression as well. Just find a sweet spot that you think sounds good, and then just don't do over compression. Just load it up. It's not too complicated. What I mean by gain staging is overall balancing what I feel like should be sounding at certain levels of the mix. So like I'll overall play the whole track in the context with the drums and the bass lines, etc., etc. And from there, I'm gonna like see which part needs a lot, like which part is the important part, which should be the loudest part, which should be the softest part in the track, and according to that, I'm gonna gain stage the whole track. So I'm gonna do the same thing. So in this beat, I'm gonna go to an area where everything is playing together. So here I can see that the whole beat is together, the kicks, the hi-hats, etc., the melodies and everything. So I'm gonna play the most busiest part of a track. So on that part, I'm gonna play this, and yep. So what I mean by gain staging right now is, for me, this track needs the 808 and the kicks needs to be the loudest. So I'm gonna keep them around 0 dB. And so what I'll do is I'll just pull them down a bit and see. So I'm going to slowly work with the with the most important aspect of a track. So that's the kick and the bass. So I'm just gonna pull it up a little bit. Maybe keep it around -6 dB or -3 dB. That's fine. So then I'm slowly gonna pull up the other sounds as well, and yeah, the 808 and the kick. Then I'm gonna pull up the melody sounds. So yeah, this is the basics of this is what gain staging looks like. So what we did over there is just adjusted what I feel like should be sitting at certain frequency level, certain amount of volume that I think needs. So what we mean by gain staging is like giving all the sounds its own place on the track. So like you just had to figure out what is the most important like sound in your track, what you want to be the most like loudest, what sounds that you want to like have soft, and then what part you want medium, not so hard, and then what sounds you want to be the loudest. So you just have to figure out that thing in your mind, and then according to it you gain stage. As a new rapper or something, as I'm a new rapper, I'm hitting up the studio, I recorded a song. A mix engineer would do his thing, of course, basic things, but how do you tell him ki how you want him to sound? तो उसमें क्या करना है? You know, whenever we record a song, we have certain sounds that we have in mind. So what you do is certain songs that we have already listened to, certain things that we want to like sound according to it. Of course, every rapper wants to sound not like exactly the same like his favorite rapper or something, but इन दैट लेवल कि इसकी तरह रिवर्ब चाहिए मुझे, इसकी तरह कुछ चाहिए. तो क्या करना है उसमें, यू जस्ट डाउनलोड जस्ट गेट द लिंक ऑफ योर रेफरेंस ट्रैक और समथिंग एंड गिव इट टू द इंजीनियर एंड टेल हिम कि मुझे इस तरीके के लाइक साउंड चाहिए मेरे गाने पे. So that's how you tell as a rapper, as a starting out, you cannot be so technical about it. Just give him the references you want and he'll work on it. The first stage of this process is to understand where your drum patches would be loaded, where your VSTs will be loaded, simple things like which key brings up the mixer window, which key brings up the pattern window. तो ये सब बेसिक चीज़ें हैं जो तुम्हें सीखना है, एंड मोस्टली इफ़ यू डोंट हैव एनी आइडिया कि ये मैं कैसे पता करूँ, एवरी डॉ कम्स विद अ मैनुअल. कुछ भी खरीदो, मोबाइल भी खरीदते तो मैनुअल तो आता ही है, कुछ भी इक्विपमेंट खरीदते तो गो थ्रू इट, डोंट बी लेजी, go through it, read it, spend a night reading it, understand hotkeys of that thing, and yes, just read it, and then you understand the DAW a bit, and then with the basics, loading up the drums, loading up the melodies, VSTs, etc will come in place. Slowly process होता है इसको learn करने को. Me, in my 10 years, I have learned everything. Every day I try to learn something new, some hidden gems that I find sometimes. You know, there are a lot of hacks that we can use, like hacks as in shortcuts that you can learn. This will only improve your workflow overall, make you more faster, you know. So these things are not overnight things, these things are not one day things, not week things. It can take like a month, like a year, 2 years, 3 years. Just keep on like using. The thing I would suggest is whatever DAW you want to learn, just use it on a frequent basis. Don't be like using today and then you switch to another DAW and you're spending there some time, you'll get confused. Just see whatever you want to learn, just use it regularly and you'll of course learn the DAW slowly.